where best friends and next-door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready, and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is Merris, because it is Merris Monday.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing over there?
I'm just sitting here making a podcast.
That's right, you are. You're
Yeah.
looking pretty handsome.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, y'all, in line with our theme of the month, which is Satan, I decided to cover near-death experience from one woman where she went to hell.
We have to say it proper. It's NHI. Oh, wait.
NDE.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't
Wow.
make it good at all.
No.
Uh,
Dyslexia strikes again.
I really embarrassed myself. That was not planned at all.
That was not a planned joke.
No.
It's okay, because sometimes the best jokes are accidental jokes where you're horribly humiliated in front of possibly thousands of people.
There you go, teabags.
So, yes, I need to trigger warning this because in her depiction, sorry, it's just some of it's really hilarious. I don't get graphic, but there is some sexual assault mentioned. So, just
I mean,
beware.
if you can't be going to hell without things in your butt.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And there's some talk of hint. She doesn't even say it in her, I've listened to several of her accounts of this, several videos, and I even read part of her book, which I will link here in the description if you want to buy it, because it is really super interesting, to be fair. But there is some mention of abortion or dead babies or something. She's very vague, so I'm
Okay.
vague also, so I'm not going to get graphic about any of this.
Okay.
Well, not graphic for me anyway. So if y'all are familiar with stories of near-death experiences, I'm sure you are. You've heard about them. I've had one. Merris has had one too. His was stupid.
Right.
Literally the stupidest near-death experience story I've ever heard.
I think I figured it out, but it's really dumb.
Would you please give a short retelling of your near-death experience,
Okay.
Merris?
It's not graphic either.
No.
When I was about 22, I think I was. It was in January, I remember. I had a pulmonary embolism. And if anyone knows what that is, it's a blood clot in your lung. They never figured out why, because it's just weird. It just randomly happened. There was a lead up. It doesn't really matter, I guess, for the situation. And I passed out in the parking lot at work, so I got ambulanced to the hospital. And, okay, the only part I remember, it was just like falling asleep. Like I had suddenly just dropped and fell asleep. It was all black, and I saw Megatron.
Transformers.
The Transformer. Now,
Robots.
I don't
in
know if that was the
disguise.
year that the movie came out or something like that. I don't know.
I think it was around then.
The way I interpret it now later, maybe it was a anagram of Megatron because
Metatron. The
sorry,
angel
I'm stupid.
of
The
God.
angel, because it's sort of like an anagram. And if you've ever been inside of my head, I'm very dyslexic.
Uh-huh.
Very, and it's just sort of something my brain would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. My near-death experience was way cooler.
Yeah.
This was in my horrific car accident when I was 20 years old. I basically was bleeding to death and had severe head injury. I zoomed out of my body, catapulted. I felt a rush, and it was really crazy and a rushing noise and pops and crazy, kind of static electric pops. And when I could look down, it looked like I was standing on glass, and I could see the whole scene of the car accident below me, and I was like, wow, I'm fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whatever. I didn't care. I went through this tunnel of mirrors that had a light at the end of it, and as I'm going through the tunnel, I see all the flesh of my body being stripped away, then the muscle and
It's
the bones.
really intense.
And my veins were left. I was just wiggly. And then I was just this little blue light. And I was like, okay, rad. I'm dead. I don't need a body anymore. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a void, the blackest darkness, the most quiet. And you'd think that'd be very scary. No.
It's rad.
It was
I would love
rad
that.
as fuck. For the first time in my entire
It's quiet.
existence,
Jeez.
I felt
Relax.
relaxed and peaceful and really happy. I was like, being dead is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Holy shit. I was in such a good mood. I was like, this is so relaxing. Oh my God. And then this scary voice said I wasn't done and I had to go back. And I was just like, fuck you. That hurts down there. And no more talking. I just got zoomed back into my body. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't meet my dead grandparents. I didn't see Jesus or anything. But that is typical. My experience is a little more typical of a near-death experience.
Why's mine dumb?
Boy, honey, they broke the mold when they made you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was
because
dumb.
like the situation was I didn't know till years later it was as bad as it was. Like my partner at the time was told I was given a 50-50 chance if I was going to make it.
Because
it was
scary.
like multiple blood clots. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just got fucked up somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, my parents were told I may not live. I probably would not. My brain injury was very severe. But here I am. I'm fine, clearly.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with me. But yeah, it's just I had a very typical experience. Mine was very short. Like, time has no meaning, and we get to talk about that in this story. The story is actually kind of metal as fuck, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's really rare to have a very nightmarish experience. Most people meet dead relatives.
She must have been a dick.
Well, we talk about that.
Okay.
All right. And she doesn't think that's why, and I don't either, but we'll get to it.
Karma?
No.
Hmm.
This story comes from a woman who considered herself a good, active, practicing Catholic.
Oh.
That's why she believes that's why she went to hell, actually.
You explained it right there.
Her name is M.K. McDaniel, and she goes by Kathy. Her middle name's Kathy, first name Mary. About 25 years ago, Kathy received a phone call from a good friend, and he had some really bad news. He had been diagnosed with leukemia and was heading to Seattle, Washington for treatment in the research hospital there. And he asked Kathy if she would come and help take care of him because they were best friends. They had always kind of helped each other out in life. She agreed, and so she went and secured a place to live. She hired another caregiver. The treatments were supposed to take 2 to 3 months. Unfortunately, those months, the 3 of them turned into 9 months. And they were like the spaghetti at the wall treatment trying to save him, just throwing everything nothing stuck, and he unfortunately passed away. And he was only 53 years old, and she was in her 50s too, and she was completely devastated by his death. He was her best friend for a really long time. It really affected her on every level, like spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
So that's what made her hell?
No.
Okay. I'm just trying to guess.
Her grief and stress over her grief had weakened her immune system pretty profoundly. So when a particularly virulent strain of the flu was going around, she caught it and became dangerously ill fast.
Dang.
A friend drove her to an urgent care because she couldn't hardly breathe. And there the doctors determined she needed to be admitted to the hospital at once. Her flu had become pneumonia. She was taken by ambulance to the hospital, and once there, she went into acute respiratory distress syndrome, which is also known as lung failure. This is a very serious condition, and typically it's what kills most people who get COVID.
Yeah, you got a bad immune system, then whatever can...
Well, it's the lung failure that kills them.
Well, I know all about that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Doctors at the hospital only gave Kathy a 38% chance of survival. That is an oddly specific number.
They calculated it down.
I want to know how the fuck they came up with it. Did they just hold up, we got to math this, girl?
They did the monster math.
They did the monster math. Fuck off, I hate you forever. Anyway, moving on. For treatment, doctors suggested Kathy be put in a medically induced coma so they could try some really aggressive treatments and have a machine breathe for her. Kathy talked to her family and agreed it was kind of her only shot at saving her life. As they were putting her under, her doctor told her he was giving her a drug where the side effect is going to be amnesia. Put you in a twilight state. Mm-hmm. You're basically in a deep sleep. You're not going to dream, and you're not going to have any memories.
Like a coma?
Yes. And I was put in this state during my time in the hospital after my car accident because of my brain injury. They had to put a shunt in the back of my head to drain the fluid, etc. I wasn't awake for that. I don't remember that. She had a little scar.
So terrible.
Well, I don't know nothing about it. I don't remember shit. So that's what she assumed was going to happen to her. She wasn't going to just wake up unless they took her off this medicine, basically. Okay. But she did wake up.
Oh, no.
Kathy woke to complete and total darkness. There was no discernible sound.
You've been there.
Yeah, and she had no clue where she was. She didn't feel afraid. She was just kind of confused. She didn't know how long she spent in the total darkness, but eventually a reddish glow began to light up wherever she was.
Uh-oh.
She thought it was the sunrise.
Oh, no.
But it never got any lighter. And now there was a thick, swirling Silent Hill fog everywhere. Okay, got a question for the white people listening. When it's foggy outside, do you say, oh, it kind of looks like Silent Hill out here? Because I swear to God, every white person on earth says this. Myself included.
I probably have said that.
Oh, you have said it several times.
Because it gets real foggy out here.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Kathy was like, it looked like Silent Hill. No, because Kathy's a nerd. Just going to put that out there. She's a little square.
Yeah.
And there was this terrible odor. Like, she couldn't really describe it. She said it smelled like every bad thing ever. Like feces, rotten flesh, sulfur, ammonia.
No. She knows. You got to know at that point where you
This
are.
bitch does not know almost the whole time.
Oh, come on. You are Catholic.
Catholic.
You are Catholic.
Yeah, no,
You know about the hell.
And still, she's just kind of like standing there looking around, and this went on for a long time, still dead silent, but suddenly she hears shrieks and screams of agony coming from everywhere.
You know at that point. Come on.
You should. She started to get a little scared at this point, and a booming voice came from the fog that said, "You know where you are." It was Merris.
I'm there. I'm that guy.
Oh my God. At first, Kathy could only ponder the statement. She didn't know. Or did she? As she stood there thinking, the only thing came to mind was hell? ? See, she's not sure.
The most obtuse lady.
Then the voice started, like, crazy laughing at her.
Yeah, I would too at this point. I am.
So she took off running away from the reddish glow on the horizon and into the deep black darkness. Not long after she started running, Kathy stopped because she was blinded by bright lights. And when the lights faded, she found herself in what she described as a bombed-out city. There were broken down shells of buildings, debris everywhere. It had once clearly been like a thriving metropolis like New York, complete with skyscrapers and very tall buildings, but everything was a smoldering ruin. Once more, she heard terrible screaming and groaning, sounds of people in pain, and it just looked like a war zone. Kathy wondered where on earth she was. You and him.
Kathy, come on.
She wonders this the whole time. It's so ridiculous.
I'm dying. I can't.
She decided to look for shelter because she didn't know if like bombs were still falling. She heard weird noises. So she kind of like hid behind this shattered wall. And then weird stuff started happening. These weird metallic scraping, grinding, like scuttling noises.
Nope.
And a huge shadow like blocked out all the light as it moved overhead.
That's very scary.
And she straight up thought, it's aliens.
I would too, I guess.
That one seems logical to me.
Yeah.
Because it made like War of the World
Whoa.
noises.
Yeah.
The Steven Spielberg one that scared the piss out of me.
That is a very scary sound.
Yeah. Although, can we just say that movie would have been a lot scarier if that little girl hadn't screamed the whole fucking time? I'd abandon a child. I mean, like, the aliens are here. You got to shut up.
Right, they'll find you.
Stuff a sock in it, you turd. I don't care what ABC disorder you have. Shut up.
Oh, that's very mean. You can't say that.
Oh, well, I did. I'm not sorry. Well, it's just, I found that almost like pandering, like that little girl's character where she's like, this is my safe
Well, maybe
space.
it's easier for her to act if she's just screaming.
I think Dakota Fanning is an amazing actress, for the record. That was the script writer's fault. And Spielberg, fuck you. Made an annoying child. I hate children. Anyway. Again, she has no idea what was going on, and she is scared. Then she encountered a group of people. They looked like extras in an apocalyptic movie, survivors of whatever disaster had befallen the city she was in. They were all dressed in rags and came out of the darkness to look at her, like with glittery, creepy eyes. Now, she'd been uneasy and kind of scared before, but now she's like, I don't even feel fucking safe. Mm-hmm. She didn't trust these people. So she's like, I'm going to find better shelter, like in a building.
Right.
So she started running. She tried pulling herself up on a concrete wall, but she slipped and started falling backwards, and it's a long fall. And as she's falling, she thought, this is going to hurt. When she hit the ground, everything went black.
So you died? This is like Inception?
Well, it kind of like, yeah, kind of. It's really weird. I'm going to keep going.
Or is it like a video game where you just...
Like a video game, you're just going to respawn.
You're just going to respawn in another terrible place.
That's exactly what happened.
That's fucked up.
When she came to, she found herself in another place, looking at a very tall, very hairy humanoid figure. And the first thing that came to
You
mind
would be
wasn't
slutty about
Bigfoot.
it. You would be slutty about it.
It was a demon. That's what she thought.
See, you'd be slutty.
Immediately, look, okay. If I went to hell, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, that tracks.
Right,
I'm kind of a shithead.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. And if there's a big hairy guy there and he's like, ugh, I'd be like, well, hey there, handsome.
See, you'd show him your titties.
I'm going to slut my way out of it. It's all I know.
It's your power.
It's my power.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, here's my titties. Aren't you interested? Wink. I'm interested.
Yeah. See,
We can do weird butt stuff.
You do fine there.
I think I'm going to get on fine in hell.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried. Yeah. And he's going to be like, I'm going to torture you. And I'm like, I'm into it. But I wouldn't assume demon. If I saw a big hairy man, I'd think, why is Bigfoot here?
I would think it's so rad.
Would you?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
Why
You'd
not?
be scared to death.
Okay, I would be scared, but
Remember?
I can't outrun him. I am Smallfoot.
That's true. You are
Yeah.
Smallfoot.
I am 5'4". His length, he could walk the
His
length.
stride.
Yeah, I would just have like little Pomeranian feet going real fast.
Tick, 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 tick,
Yeah,
tick.
no, there's just no way. I can't outrun him, so I could maybe befriend him.
Maybe give him a hand job.
No,
So slutting my way out of it is fine, but
I
you're
don't
too
have
good
big
for it.
honker dunkers.
You're handsome. Maybe he
Bigfoot's
swing
not-
that way. You don't know.
He's not interested in that. I look like a little wiener. Like there's just no
So
way.
You don't look like a little wiener. Anyway, but like, I don't know. I just don't think I would have. What's Bigfoot doing here? That's what I would think.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be number one. Like, holy cow.
The demon thing noticed her staring and said to her, "Do you want to get out of here?" And that's nice.
Is he gonna like carry around her shoulders?
I hope so. I wanted this to turn into like an epic romance, like an
buddy
interdimensional
movie.
romance, a buddy movie,
Yeah,
something. She was surprised because the creature spoke perfect English, and she said, "Yes, I do," because obviously,
Yeah.
he's like, "I've got a job for you. You get that done, and I will personally see that you get out." Dang, I'm gonna guess the job is like rimming Satan while being sawed in half, or something equally.
That's a pretty cool
unpleasant.
job.
Kathy thought it was all really weird because it was. The demon waved his arm and the scenery suddenly changed. Now they were standing in this huge, immense field that was just crawling with what looked like blackberry vines. They were about 6 to 10 feet tall, like the bushes and vines. And
It's so detailed.
Yes, Kathy had gone blackberry picking before and had helped neighbors cut down some of the overgrown bushes, and she knew how hard these things were to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
And the demon said, "You just have to clear this field, then I'll help you get out." Honestly, would rather rim Satan while being sawed in half. That's over faster.
Just do my yard work.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to do this, so if you do this, wink, I'll get you out of here. As Kathy boggled at the enormity of the task, the demon handed her some safety scissors. You know, the ones, like you had them in kindergarten and they could barely cut paper?
Yeah.
That's what he gave her. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that is just fucking hilarious.
Or it makes me think of like there was vampire lore where you throw the sticks on the ground and he has to pick them up.
No matter what,
And
yeah.
isn't there like a Greek story where they make you do like impossible tasks, like Odysseus, where you have to shovel
Sisyphus.
all the poo forever?
No, it wasn't poo. It was Sisyphus has to push a giant boulder up a rock forever.
No, I know that story, but I'm thinking of a different one.
All right, I
where
don't
he
know
makes
that
him like do a series of very long impossible tasks. I think when he was in the underworld. I'm not sure of the story, but it's just so medieval, this sort of thing.
Yeah, it is. It's
is
like,
my point.
Here's your kindergartner scissors. And when
Yeah.
she took the scissors, he just laughed at her. She knew the creature was messing with her, and she just straight up angrily grabbed the scissors and started trying to cut one of the vines.
Fuck
and it
that.
took
I'd just
forever.
throw it on the ground and walk away.
But she did it. So when she turned to set the cut vine behind her, it was already growing back.
That's so dumb.
Mm-hmm. The demon found this delightful and just like was practically rolling on the ground, like laughing at
Just
her.
leave. Just walk away. Go on strike.
And then he said to her, "Just give up. You'll never be able to do it. Just give up in despair."
Okay.
Which is probably pretty bad advice.
Done.
Yeah, you gave up before. He's like, you're like, I'm
I'd be
already
like, this
despairing.
Is ridiculous.
It's fine.
No.
Kathy said no and continued to cut the vines, even though deep down she knew it was futile. Everything went black again. When Kathy came to this time, she was in a totally different place. She found herself in a hospital. Everything was like eye-searingly white, White floors, walls, and ceilings. The lights were nearly blinding. There were doors on either side of the long hallway. She thought to start trying the doors to see what was in the rooms, but when she looked down the hall, she saw another demon creature just ominously standing there.
It's like there was abduction alien things.
Yeah, it is like that.
Yeah.
This one carried a thick stick.
Where?
A literal stick. He was like clutching it.
Oh.
It wasn't his ding-dong.
Oh.
Kathy thought the demons had these crude weapons to be intimidating and scary, which, fine.
Okay.
She knew she had to get away from this guy, so she thought she needed to pick a door and just run to get out of the hallway away from the demon. But as she's trying to kind of decide which door to pick, it is instantly in her face. Like it just materialized in front of her.
Okay.
She froze, not wanting to aggravate it or anything, and he said to her, "Okay, you got a new job." Great, Kathy thought. Just as an aside, can we all bow down to Kathy's enormous balls? She's facing hell demons, and she's just sort of annoyed by them. Listening to her interview, she's just very sassy. She's like, "Oh, good golly, gosh, this stinks."
But they're just making her do stupid things.
This one's bad.
Okay.
I think it's very funny.
Yeah.
I think she's also the type to complain at a restaurant about everything and ask for everything on the side and then not tip. That's why she's in hell, just saying.
Yeah.
She's got that kind of Karen energy going on. The demon told her her new job was to go into the door on the right, take the object inside, come out, and then go into the room that was on the left and put the object down, rinse and repeat. And Kathy was like, well, it's not too bad, but it is. She just had no intention of doing the job. She thought, I'll go into the door that he told me to and find a way out. Like maybe there'll be another door or
Just
a person.
run for it.
Just run for it.
Yeah.
The room she went into was huge and just lined with gurneys and like hospital beds. And at the end of each hospital bed was a stool with a doctor sitting there.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, good. It's a doctor's office. And when she looked at one of the doctors, he raised his hand like to wave at her, like, come over here. And his hands were just covered in gore and blood.
Yeah. Oh, you did trigger warning. This is where it's going to get gross.
She was just like, oh, I'm not going over there. But then he shouted at her, get over here. And so she went over there because she'd been told to do a job. The doctor instructed her to hold out her arms. So she did. I would be like, you hold out your arms,
He's going to
bitch.
give her gross stuff, right?
Yes. His gurney had a woman on it. And he reached into her body, pulled out a bunch of gross bloody gore goop, and just scooped it up and blorped it into her arms.
Great.
Kathy was just horrified. And then the doctor shouted at her, get going. So she went back out onto the hall. She went into the other door the demon told her to.
Oh, I see where this is going.
You might. And it's like as big as a Walmart in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just piles of these wads, disgusting, bloody wads everywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
They're babies.
Oh,
Malformed and aborted, I'm supposing.
Yeah.
And so then she's just like, ugh. She sets the poor thing down. That's what she called it. And she went back into the hall.
Because she's Catholic. I bet that's what that's
exactly.
playing on. Yeah.
Yep. Back you go. This is your job now, the demon told her. And Kathy was like, fuck no. She's like, I'm not doing that. It's awful, disgusting, and immoral.
I guess.
The demon literally rolled its eyes at her.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're bringing on yourself.
I feel these demons.
He raised his big stick. That's a weapon, not
you
his
say
wiener.
that carefully, yeah.
Yeah. And he acted like he was going to hit her with it. Everything went black. Yeah. So when she wakes up again, it follows a pattern. Every time she like refuses or doesn't comply with some crazy ass job and they get worse and worse and worse, she's just zapped to the next place.
Right.
And it's worse than the previous place. Yeah. Until she finds herself on a road. Now, this road is a long dirt road. She cannot see more than 3 or 4 feet in front of her because there are no stars in the sky, no moon. It is total pitch darkness above her and all around her. There's a thick fog and then the kind of glow on the horizon that looks like a forest fire. Mm-hmm. It's just pitch black and scary. She could not measure time. In fact, she felt as though time didn't exist wherever she was. There was only the now. Even so, she felt she walked down this dirt road forever. And she found it boring and monotonous. Because, like, at least in the rooms and weird scenarios she's sent to, something is happening. There's someone to talk to. But she is completely alone.
This reminds me of the Barbie movie when they're going into in-between.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love the Barbie movie.
Uh-huh.
Once, when on this road, she did meet some people. And she said they were living people, like projections of living people that she knew in life.
Yeah.
She never really felt the whole time that she was dead, either. She just felt like herself. In fact, she said she was hungry and tired and thirsty and could never find relief for her discomfort. Suddenly, she smelled something delicious while walking on the road. She started, of course, walking faster, trying to find the source of the yum-yum smell.
This is not going to be good.
No.
No.
She came upon a man just sitting in a chair and a woman who was very busy, like, putting food on these big, grand tables. It was a feast, a banquet.
Oh, no. Spirited Away vibes.
Right? When Kathy looked again at this woman, she realized she knew her, and it was a relative of hers that she was pretty close to. So she called out her name, so relieved she knew somebody. And because she was just assumed this is my new reality forever. And she was trying to get used to it. So she's just like almost crying with relief.
Right.
But when she called the woman's name, she looked at her, but like there was no recognition. She just looked confused, like she didn't know her. And so Kathy said, "Excuse me, I know you're very busy, but could you just fix me a small plate of anything and a glass of water and I'll get out of your way?" The woman scoffed at her. "This is for important people."
Yeah, right. Get the fuck
man.
out. Who do you think you are?
Get out of here, Kathy. It almost feels like she's getting a weird lesson every time.
Yeah.
Something that, like, maybe how she's treated someone else, how judgmental she's been before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so she's seen herself as an important person because she's a Catholic white lady, like middle class. So, of course, can I talk to the manager? And she's like, no.
Right.
And
that's true. Yeah.
she felt very hurt by this in particular. Like, it bothered her almost more than anything else.
Even more than the baby guts.
Even more than the baby guts. And she said, "Sorry to bother you."
Jesus.
Then she got back on the road. And she felt actually happy to be back on it because it almost felt like the one thing she could kind of control. Like, if she stayed on the road, bad things didn't happen. It was when she got off the road, crazy shit happened. And she'd rather just be bored than horrified. And she thought eventually she'll come to the end of the road. She felt safer on it. But the last time she was on the road was the worst.
Uh-oh.
She looked up and saw a ton of people just milling about, walking back and forth and blocking her way forward. And they were all dressed in rags, and many of them limping and muttering to themselves. She got closer. She thought they looked kind of unhealthy, like
Is
sickly.
it a zombie apocalypse?
No.
Oh.
And they did look dangerous. But she's like, if I get off the road, something worse will happen. So she just slowed down. She kept her head down, started muttering to herself and limping along, trying to kind of fit in so she could get past the crowd and then run.
Fit in like the zombies. Okay.
Like in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
When they pretend to be zombies.
Yeah.
And you know what? It worked until she got to the middle of the crowd.
Uh-oh.
Everyone stopped and froze and turned and stared at her.
Nope.
And she's just like, "Oh, fuck a doodle do."
They're gonna bite you.
And instead of saying fuck a doodle do, she said golly gosh darn or something, because she does not curse. And the women that were in the group left. They walked off, and it left her with just the men.
Oh, no.
And she knew this was bad. A man came up to her and smacked her in the chest, knocking her to the ground. Another man started kicking her while she was down, and they all jumped on her and did unspeakable stuff.
Oh, no.
And it went on forever.
That's terrible.
Finally, they all backed off, except one man who leaned down in her face, and his breath was rotten, she said. He said, "We all have AIDS, and now you do too, and you can't die. You'll just get sicker and worse and become just like us." And as he was talking, a chunk of his face fell off.
Well, that's so terrible.
Fuck that.
Like, this lady, I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, she's really good at nightmares.
Yeah, for real. As the people moved away, a demon woman came up to Kathy and said, "Come with me, you're one of us now." Kathy gathered up her rags, because now she is like one of them. Her clothes are all ragged, she's dirty, she's hungry, she's muttering to herself. And all the women that were in this group, and there was about a dozen of them, followed this demon lady. And they start trudging towards a tree line, and once they reach it, everything is covered in snow, like a tundra. And It's so painful to walk. She doesn't really have proper shoes or clothes. It's so cold. And she kind of jettisons out of her body for a second and gets like a top-down cinematic view. And it's just a long line of women walking through chest-deep snow.
Well, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then they arrive at a broken-down shack, and the demon told them to get inside. So they're actually pleased to go in because maybe they can get out of the wind. So they go inside. They're all huddled together on the floor, but every window is broken. The wind is just slicing through. They're all very cold. And the demon said, "This is where we wait for customers."
Oh, okay, great.
And Kathy kind of flipped her shit at this one. Kathy said to the demon, "I've been here a long time and I've been through a lot. Why does it seem particularly depressing right now? Am I just tired?" And the demon said, "No, it's Christmas on Earth. And it's always the worst day in hell on Christmas."
I mean, that makes sense to me.
I mean, it's the worst. I don't like Christmas.
No, it's always stressful.
It's stressful. When you're poor, Christmas is a sad time.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that. Because,
Yeah.
like, man, it is a sad time.
Yeah, it's the worst day.
Yeah, I don't celebrate it because, well, I'm not Christian, so it doesn't.
No.
Why would I? It's
Right.
weird. It's so commercialized. I don't like it. I like the decorations, though.
Yes.
I love
like
them,
the twinkly
actually.
lights
Oh
is
my
good.
goodness, I
I'm
love
pro
it.
twinkly lights.
And the Christmas tree, I love that shit.
Uh-huh.
Kathy was shocked. Yes, yet again. Hell? Huh? She's like, "I don't deserve to be here. I'm a good Catholic." So she decided to start singing a Christmas carol like an absolute asshole.
Yeah, I think that is. That's just mocking now. That is adding to the misery.
Yeah. She started singing "Away in the Manger."
I was thinking, I told you this earlier, the worst Christmas song on earth.
It's one of them.
It's the Paul McCartney song.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
That
without
is
doubt.
hands down the worst song. Come at me, Paul McCartney fans.
I will fight him.
Uh-huh.
And you. And anyone else who tells me that song is good. The Having a Wonderful Christmas Time?
Yes. Sydney's not having shit here. No. Mm-mm.
Cindy?
Is it, I think it's
Kathy.
Sydney. Okay.
Simply having. It's not Cindy. Oh my God, you thought that was the lyrics.
I need to get off this podcast.
Oh no.
I'm too stupid.
Oh no, I have been killed. Oh, I've been killed and now I'm in hell. Anyway, so she sang it. Some of the other women joined in. The demon was like, "Shut up." And Kathy was like, "No." And so the demon flew at her with a terrible shriek. And she closed her eyes and everything went black again.
Yeah.
This time when she opened her eyes, it was a bright, bright light and everything was blissful and love and joy. This amazing sense of peace, the most glorious moment and feeling she'd ever had. She just needs to eat them little Nutella biscuit cookies and smoke a bowl.
I feel like this whole episode is like Virgil, And,
It's very Dante's Inferno, isn't it?
yeah, like how many layers has she got here?
Are we done? Don't worry.
Oh,
She's
that's
out of
fine.
hell now.
I'm having fun.
The light started to dim just a little bit, and she could see she was in this white marble cathedral. It was just plain, though. There was no decorations. She looked up and saw her friend who had died the previous month, and he looked healthy and happy and younger. He was laughing.
This is a trick. You know it is, right?
No. Kathy thought that he didn't know he was dead, and she's like, "I don't want to be the one to tell him." That's what she thought. But he laughed when she thought that, so she knew that he could read her thoughts. And then she was pumped. She's like, "We are dead, and we are in heaven, and that is rad. I'm here with my friend."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "So why are we just standing here? Let's go do stuff." She was like excited to be dead. And I get that. I was too. There was this huge table with a book on it that was opened.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't remember what was in it. I'm just including it because that's what she included. And she kept bugging her friend, like, "What are we going to do? We're in heaven. This is rad." And he told her, Mary Kay, because her first name is Mary, "You have too much left to do." And she was like,
No.
"Ner." Being the "let me talk to the manager" kind of lady that she is, she said no and stamped her foot. She didn't want to go back. Don't blame her. Earth is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Her friend just kind of wanly smiled and everything went black. When she opened her eyes, the lights were too bright, like they hurt her eyes. And she could see people milling about around her. And for a moment, she thought she was back in hell. But then her vision cleared, and it was her family, and she was in the hospital, and she was alive. Kathy had nearly died in the ICU. She had coded a couple times. She had been there for 3 weeks in a coma. She spent another month in rehab learning how to walk and even swallow again. She felt like an infant having to relearn everything. But it was like a rebirth for her.
Mm-hmm.
Her experience profoundly changed her life. It took a year to recover to full health. She was afraid to sleep because she had nightmares about being in hell. Mm-hmm. She determined it was her Catholic faith.
Yeah, see? I was right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And then so she felt like she had to talk to her family about it.
They're like,
so, no, They reacted real bad. They're like, you went to hell? What did you do?
Yeah.
And she found them so judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
And it shamed her into silence. And she kept silent for like 10 years.
Was her family Catholic too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Until she found like this near-death experience group that had other experiencers there. And she decided to go to a meeting. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she went to hell because she's annoying.
No, it just sounds like she was a pain in the butt.
But when she got to the meeting, everyone's sharing their stories, and hers is she doesn't share hers because
it's really intense.
It's really intense. Everyone else has heaven experiences. They have life reviews, right. That sort of thing. She didn't have any of that.
I feel totally like stolen. Like my experience is weird and no one else has one like that. But I feel like that's what it is. Like it was because you can't look at an angel directly, especially if it's that one.
Your brain can't like figure out what it is. So you were like probably half dead.
Yeah, I guess like because like I said, when I woke up and I didn't know until much later that it was as bad as it was.
I knew mine was bad, but yeah, I think that's what happened to you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So even in this new group, she's an outsider, and she goes to these meetings for about a year and never speaks on her experience and ends up leaving a lot of the time in the middle because she gets really emotional.
Mm-hmm. She
feels really, I don't know, ashamed.
Yeah, I feel similar because mine's so weird and short. And it's so absurd, and I feel like it's
Nobody
similar
will
in that
believe
way.
You.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So she finally, like, the leader of this group, he's like, hey, why aren't you hanging out with everybody? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, because my experience is so different from everybody else's.
Right.
She's like, I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel so.
And he said, no, you need to share this.
Yeah.
He said, 3 out of 10 experiencers will experience hell. Like, sometimes they'll experience it first, then they go to heaven, like Kathy did.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just have a hell experience. Some people have weird ones, like me and
Mine's
you.
Mine's weird, and, like, I feel similarly, because I usually don't tell it, because it is so absurd, and it could be just, well, it was just a dream.
Yeah, I've been told mine was just a dream, and it wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't a dream because it didn't feel like one. I know what a dream feels like. I was not in my body. It felt awesome. I recommend it. No, that sounds wrong. You know what I mean. Don't be scared of dying. It's rad. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you're going to do it anyway, though you're scared or not. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's the truth.
Nice, Merris. Anyway, so she got up and told her story, and everybody was like, holy shit, Kathy.
Yeah, right.
And she was convinced by her group to write a book. Mm-hmm. And now she talks to people because she figured out what happened to her. She's like, I didn't go to hell because there isn't one.
Okay.
She's like, I manifested my afterlife.
Yeah.
She's like, all of us do. After, some people get their life review, some people don't. But I felt like I needed this experience in my afterlife to teach me to be a better person.
Yeah.
I needed these lessons.
Well, that's really the definition of hell, Kathy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She created her own hell with her Catholic faith because she was like, she believed... And I don't know if all Catholics believe this, so I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
She believed that literally no one alive on earth was deserving of going to heaven.
It feels that way when you're being brought up Catholic.
She believed that everybody went to purgatory and they served a certain amount of time there and then they got to go to heaven.
It's a part of the Apostles' Creed where Jesus spends 3 days in hell before he can go to heaven.
You have to go to purgatory.
Him doing that is what paved the pathway for everyone else to do that.
But you have to do the work.
Yes. So, yeah, that's true. A part of Catholic is you go to purgatory, but not, it sort of, when I brought up, it felt like if you were good enough, you didn't have to do that.
that not for Kathy. She like there were prayers you could say and like doing the rosary, which would knock time off your sentence in purgatory.
Yeah, it felt like if you were a good person here, you could kind of, not
wiggle out of there.
Yeah, not do as bad. It wouldn't
not
be
spend as much time
yes,
there.
But that is a part of when I was growing up. Yes,
I find that very interesting and depressing, but interesting.
Well, all of Catholicism is very depressing.
Yes, it's grim as shit.
Uh-huh.
It just makes you feel like a giant turd.
Yeah.
But she said it's so wrong. She's like, all religion is evil and wrong. You are not judged. Even if you do bad things, God only loves you no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that that's pretty much true,
The afterlife is never a punishment. Never.
Yeah, right.
That's silly. She said it's so beyond your imagining. And she said all it is that when you have your life review, you experience all the hurts and the good things you've done to others through their eyes.
Right.
And she said, so we can be connected. You're not judged for it. You're just shown how your actions affected others.
You
and
get
hopefully
to see your own butterfly effect.
Yes, and then you learn from that, and you decide if you want to come back or if you want to stay.
Right.
And I kind of believe
Who would ever
that.
want to stay in a place full of capitalism?
Not me.
No.
Where's heaven?
Right. This has got to be some kind of bullshit.
Can I big titty elf princess in heaven? That's what I want. Where I don't gain any weight, but I can eat all the cake.
I want to be a magical elf. That's just the way it is. Sorry.
Me too.
Yeah.
Sorry if you think that's weird.
If you think it's dumb, I don't care. I'm going to go put on my ears.
I'm going to put on my ears and I'm going to go prance around in the woods with my boobs out.
Right, but I'm an evil wizard kind of elf is the kind I am.
Ooh, that's my type.
Right. Yeah. Well, you could be a titty elf and I'll be an evil wizard elf.
I'm going to be an evil sorceress and we're going to have beef, but we're going to resolve it with sex and flirting.
Yeah, I think that works out for me.
We're rivals, but in a hot way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we've really gone off the rails.
I don't know what
happened. Are we
happened.
writing our own fan fiction? I don't know what's going on.
This is supposed to be true crime or something. I don't know what's going on.
It's a crime what we've done here today.
It is just off the rails.
A little bit. But you know what? Isn't off the rails? Business time. And here's all I'm going to say. We've gone down to one true crime episode a week because when we originally started this podcast, the whole idea was record as much as possible until we have bingeable content. We there. I can't no more with these 2 a week. Like, y'all, seriously.
She's dying.
I'm too
She's
much.
in that place where Kathy was.
And the demons keep giving me jobs I don't want to do.
Oh my God. See, we're there.
I'm there, man. Yeah, like if you don't think this is hell, like capitalism, I don't know what to tell you.
It's the capitalism hell, and I don't like it.
Can we get a different flavor of hell? I'd rather Dante's Inferno. Oh, no, that's a lot of poop.
Gluttony. Like where there's so much food, we're just eating everything. I guess that's it to the same too.
Yeah, there's a lot of poop involved in that.
Yeah.
It's gross. Anyway. So if you want to continue to have like more episodes, please join our Patreon. It is the best way to support this podcast because, hey, the more support we get, the less outside work I have to do, the more content I can create for you. Better content. We also wanted to go down to one true crime episode a week to make our episodes longer, better researched, because if we're more calm and we've had time to research our cases, we're not stressed and burning it at both ends, the quality is just higher.
Right.
And we expect to lose some listeners over that, and that's okay. I understand.
We don't have a team of anything, just us.
It's just us, and we're tired.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for 2 years like this. It's rough, and I don't want to burn out and not do it anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. So our Patreon, we will release 4 episodes a month, and additional bonus content that's kind of going to be a surprise. We'll probably get to that towards the end of the year, but we have like little documentaries we want to make. I've been wanting to do this since we started, but there has literally been no time. And I want to focus more on the Patreon and give you guys really great content that you kind of can't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Also, my soap is for sale. Go buy it. If you order by this week, you should be getting it around Halloween time because I ship priority.
Right.
If you're waiting on a package, don't worry. Things are going out tomorrow. I received the wrong boxes and had to order again. I can't ship things.
Not our fault. Technical difficulties.
I just feel like sometimes the universe is like, I'm going to fuck this up in a very particular, silly way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, tarot card readings. I'm doing them still. Merris is still doing his star chart paintings. Explain what that is really quick.
Well, I do original handmade watercolor paintings that are maps, and they are star maps. And it is a snapshot in the sky at the specific time that you said. So your birthday or so your friend's
Anniversary.
birthday, Christmas for some fucking reason.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, so I will draw it with my hands, and it will be an accurate star map that is very cool looking.
And an old-timey illustration style of the constellations. If you want to see Merris's work to get an idea what yours would look like, you can go to his Instagram, which is in our link tree. And if you ordered one of those, he's all done with all of them. Those ship out in the next week or two.
Yep. We just have to ship it.
Yes, we've everything, car trouble, you name it. It's been a nightmare. And the economy is punching us directly in the face because we're artists.
It's more like our taint. It's right there.
Well, that's really uncomfortable.
Right there in between in the
Yeah, like a
jewels.
pointy shoe, just kicking you right in the...
Yeah, I don't AI anything that's
tender
made with
spot.
my hands.
Yeah. And it's really hard to be a one-woman show when you have 5 shows and you're juggling a lot of things. I've actually cut down on a bunch of things. I'm focusing more on the podcast and some other side projects that don't stress me out so much. And yeah, so get a tarot reading from me. Those don't stress me out. If I owe you one, I guarantee you I've sent it. Check your spam folder, or I'm dumb and typed your email wrong, so please get in touch with me so I can type it right.
Right.
Just saying.
I don't type it. You guys know I'm bad at that.
Oh, you're bad at typing. That's true. Good at writing, though.
Yeah, but because
Takes a lot of
the
effort.
machine fixes all my mistakes.
That's true. But if all you can do to support this podcast is listen, you should still buy some merch because it's hoodie season.
Yeah.
And our hoodies are so nice. They are so soft and fuzzy and warm. And the place we sell our t-shirts from always has sales. So hook yourself up with a hoodie or a mug or something. But if you can't, we understand. Everything's garbage right now. Yeah. And thank you for listening. It means a lot to me. Y'all's continued support really makes my day. I appreciate all the kind messages because y'all, it's been a rough ride the past couple months. It really has.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sad. I'm in a great mood, actually. Things are kind of turning around, we just roll with the punches around here. Yeah. And I'm sure y'all know what that's like. I know we're all kind of hurting right now.
We're all punched.
We're all punched and kicked right in the taint, and it's some bullshit. But hey, I love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Us on your social media platform of choice. Linktree/cruelty has all of the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Lillian.